So thank you for joining us, for getting to know your doctor. First of all, what is your favorite animal?
So it has actually changed in undergrad. I used to always say my favorite animals are wolves. I think they're beautiful. I do think they're amazing with their pack working, the way that they work as a pack. But my new favorite animal, and it's been for about 8-10 years now, is a whale shark. And I knew they existed. Wanting to be a vet since I was a child. I've always loved animals. I read any and all animal books, like the picture books, the encyclopedias. I would just read those as a kid. And so I knew what a whale shark was. And I actually went to University of Alabama for my undergraduate degree for chemistry. And so if you guys don't know geography, Alabama to Tuscaloosa is only about 3.5 hours away from Atlanta, Georgia. And while I was in undergrad, I learned that the Atlanta Aquarium has whale sharks. I think it's actually the only aquarium in the United States that has whale sharks, and the only other aquariums that have whale sharks are in Japan. And so I got super excited. I roped my friends on it was just a day trip on a weekend. I was like, let's go to Atlanta. It's only 3 hours. We don't have any homework or school. Let's just go take a fun day trip to a city. And so we went, and I just remember, if you guys have never been to the Georgia Aquarium, there's a loop that you can take to see the whole aquarium, and then the whale shark tank obviously is the biggest, and it's and you kind of walk in through a tunnel, and then there's a giant tank, and they have 3 whale sharks that just constantly circle the tank. And I just remember when I walked in, I just saw them, and I was as giddy as a child. I was actually more excited than a lot of the young kids that were there. I don't think they knew what they were seeing, how amazing it was. So ever since then, whale sharks has been my favorite. I got a whale shark stuffed toy when I was there just to commemorate, and an ornament. And I recently adopted a dog, and I got her a whale shark toy as well.
That is amazing.
Oh.
What is your favorite childhood memory?
So right before I entered the 5th grade, I grew up outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. My parents moved from my current neighborhood that I'd lived in my whole life to a new neighborhood still in North Carolina, 10 minutes away. And first I wasn't excited about the move because, as a child, I had my routine, I liked my neighborhood, I had friends in my neighborhood, but then we moved for a better school system. And it turns out the new neighborhood, first off, I met phenomenal friends there as well, but it also had a creek running through it, just a block away. And so my favorite memory is me and my friends on the street. We would go and walk to that creek because it was a 10-minute walk maybe, or we'd ride our bikes to the creek, and we found these deep parts of the creek. It was not a huge creek. Creek is generous, but we found deeper pools in the creek that me as a 5th grader could fit in, so we would go swimming. And so my favorite memory from just going swimming with the creek, it was always fun to be outside. But we decided to make mud hats one day. And I do have a picture, if you want the picture, of young me with my friends in our mud hats, and we each had a different emblem above our. I had a leaf, someone had grass, someone had a stick. I don't know. We made mud hats, and it was really fun at the time. We really enjoyed it. It was a hot summer day, and it was less fun in the shower. The mud did not come out of my hair. It got right down to the scalp. But that is one of my favorite childhood memories. It was just so fun and free, and I love being outside.
That's amazing. What is one embarrassing thing about you?
One embarrassing thing about me, so I love to read, and I used to read all of the time. In school, I would always get caught. I'd have that book under my desk, the fun book, not the educational book. And so what's embarrassing about me is if I start reading, if I'm at home reading, or I go out in a coffee shop or whatever, and I start reading, I cannot be distracted. I just don't hear when people interact with me. I get so sucked into the book.
I can relate. Tell us something funny about yourself we don't know yet.
Something funny about myself.
Or interesting.
Interesting and kind of funny is, I am really into aquascaping. I had a fish tank in high school, and I didn't have it while in undergrad and vet school just because I was moving all the time and leaving for summers, and I couldn't really have an established tank. But now that I'm here, I'm permanent. I have a permanent job. I'm not really going to be traveling. I've set up fish tanks. And so I needed new stands. My parents were very nice. They kept a 56-gallon and a 36-gallon in their garage for the last 8 years since they moved to Texas and I've been away at school. So very kind of them to keep those giant things for me because it didn't let my dad's car be parked in the garage. But they were very sweet. So now I have them, and I needed new stands to put them on. And so if you're not familiar with the weight of water, the weight of a fish tank, the 56-gallon I have can weigh up to 600 pounds. So it needs a very specific stand to be able to support that weight so it doesn't come crashing down and then leak almost 60 gallons of water on my floor. And I looked at pet stores, and I couldn't really find one that I loved. And then I found some DIY instructions on like how to build a fish tank stand out of 2x4s. And in my head, I was like, oh, that's so easy. I'm gonna cut like straight line. It's gonna be like a box, like it would, that should be easy. So I bought a saw, I bought the 2x4s, and I bought porch paint because it'll stain and seal at the same time. And it was not easy. Cutting straight lines out of wood is apparently not really a thing because the wood itself is semi-warped, like it's twisting. They're not all perfectly cut. So foolish me thought I could build 2 tank stands in like half of a day. The painting took me 5 hours with the paint stains, and then I stained myself and my clothes, and then nailing everything and screwing it all together I was humbled by that experience. So interesting, funny fact about me is I thought construction was going to be easy, and it was not. But I learned, and it was a good time. It was just definitely a 48-hour project. And this was before work, so that was all I did for 2 days.